you know, yeah, stopping war and militarism is tough.
All of the news media stacked up against these.
Right.
I'd like to give you an example. I'm looking at the CNN website right now, and I'm reading the following headline. Gingrich ahead in Iowa poll.
Hey, but like
Romney drops to third. Let's see, what comes after first?
Second.
We're not going to talk about second, are we?
let's talk about an alternative.
Does anyone know why we're not going to talk about second?
Because it's Ron Paul in second place.
No,
Come on.
We can produce an alternative right here.
Why would they do that? Well, because if all of the Republican candidates were surrounding us here, we would have only one guy on our side, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
That's what we're up against, as Sandy is describing.
So, but I think a good place to start is to understand that, as with all the other issues we're dealing with, most Americans do not support war. You know, the government did something very clever back in the late 1940s. They took the Department of War and they renamed it. What's it called now? The Department of Defense.
Defending who?
And you know, when you talk to people, you know, and you use the word defense, that's a hard thing to get people to go against.
Argue against defense.
You know, to say, oh, we oppose defense.
We're up against a very vast, very well-orchestrated system of psychological manipulation.
So one thing we can start doing is just in the way that we talk about things. I never refer to the Department of Defense. I call it the War Department, okay? I never refer to defense spending or the defense budget. I talk about military spending and the military budget, because that's what it is. So that's just one little shift we can all make right from day one. Whoever we're talking to, you know, it doesn't matter where they are politically, but just we can change our way of talking about things and the way we look at this.
Because he defines the terms, wins the argument.
Certainly.
And by the way, we talk about political, these issues cutting across political differences. Two people sitting here leading this discussion, Sandy and I. Sandy is the local coordinator for Progressive Democrats of America. I'm a Ron Paul Republican. We work together regularly on this matters, because in our minds, these are the most important issues that we face. Is how, not what we do here inside, but how our country behaves towards and interacts with other countries. What that says about us. And the fact of the matter is, that what our foreign policy and our military actions say about us is not very good.
No.
Why do we keep voting? I thought we voted once to keep us out of this war, to get us out of this war. Like, we keep voting for something. Why do we keep voting for something that doesn't change anything?
Don't think what the mass media tells you to think. Think for yourself.
I feel like that's what I'm doing.
Well, I have a question. So you mentioned, and I agree, that like most people are against war in general. But how can we get those people to want to participate in our dialogue, like in our public discourse? Because I find that a lot of people are afraid to participate in the public discourse. They just want to mind their own business. How do we get them out of their shell?
Well, I think you guys have been doing a great job of doing that, of getting people out. You know, I mean, I've been organizing in Miami with different groups, PDA, for the last few years. And yeah, it's hard to get people. It's hard to get people to get engaged with politics. It's hard to get, and you know, the Occupy movement is succeeding where many of us have failed. And so, you know, I defer to you guys on that.
You know about value education.
Well, we need to value education. That's another thing. So a lot of people, we had mentioned this earlier, Nick mentioned this, a lot of people don't know the facts. And then the facts, I mean, in some senses, the facts can be secondary to knowing that there's a problem. I mean, because the facts can be twisted and turned every way. What do you
Just
think?
come here.
What do you think might be a good way for us to try to properly get people interested in the facts, or how can we present the facts so that people might actually stop and try to take them in?
Well, that's what we're trying to do here. That's why Robert and I are here, and we're gonna do this on a regular basis.
Yeah,
here.
thank you.
And please publicize it and invite people to come.
Your own style, okay? Some people are subtle, some people are outrageous. Develop your own style. A few years ago, you saw me running around downtown Miami, doing my daily work routine as a bike messenger. You look at my bike, there would be a sign in hanging from the center of the frame, which said "Impeach Bush and Cheney." And I use that bike as an opportunity to try to get people's minds interested in that. Even if somebody that just briefly runs past and happens to look at it, for that brief moment at least, they are focused on the matter. And that's how you advance, by tiny, imperceptible increments. The most important thing is to not lose David Swanson, I don't know if you're familiar with him, made a statement at a book signing a couple of years ago, and the books in Paul Gaines.